UVB is obviously the burning ray, the most dangerous ray, but for every one ray of UVB, there's 500 rays of UVA. They create oxidative stress in the skin, which is incredibly aging.
Corinna Tolan,
the award-winning esthetician and clinic director,
founder of Skin Deep podcast,
and a 30-year skin longevity specialist.
The woman they call the master skin genius.
My mom's friend was living in South Africa, in Cape Town, and she was a patient of Dr. Des Fernandes, and he had put her on to Environ skincare. My younger sister, who's 5 years younger than me, has keratosis pilaris at that point. She was only about maybe 13, 14. And it was her one day saying to my mom, "You need to get me that stuff from South Africa. That thing is coming back on my face." My mom went over to Cape Town to visit her friend and came home with a lot of Environ. At the time it was called Debut Mild, Classic, Rich and Ultra, which was your ABST 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I still can see myself saying to her, "Did that work?" And I went over and felt the side of her face, and I'd never felt it so clear, and all the redness was gone.
Wow.
My brother-in-law, who golfs in amongst many other golfers in his group, and it's funny, whenever they come in from golfing, everyone else is red like a tomato, but he had rad on. He's literally the same colour as he was going out because it protects his skin so well.
What's a treatment or product that you think is completely overhyped at the moment?
Oh, Korean skincare site.
Do you? Really? What has kept you loyal all those years? Because there are so many skincare brands now. So why Environ in particular?
First of all,
today I have the pleasure of introducing Corinna Tolan, one of the most respected voices when it comes to advanced skincare and skin health. She has a long-standing and strong reputation in her branches across Dublin and London, with a philosophy rooted in holistic skin health. She's been working with Environ for over 20 years and has been recognised by Dr. Des Fernandes for her expertise in vitamin A therapy. So much so that she's been described as a master skin genius. Outside of the treatment room, she hosts her own podcast, The Skin Deep, where she talks about skincare, health, and beauty as a whole. So, welcome again to Scintillia After Hours. Such a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
I want to know everything. Tell me, how did you get into skincare?
Okay, well, I was kind of born into skincare because my mum started the business. I was my mum's fourth child, and she thought that was it, and she was not going to have any more children. She wanted to start looking at building a career outside of the home. At the time, we were living in the suburbs of Dublin, and you would have had to travel into the city to have any kind of beauty or skincare treatments done. So she wanted to bring that service to North County Dublin. At the time in the 80s, most women didn't work, they were stay at home, most of them didn't drive. We were in the middle of a recession, there wasn't a lot of money around. So my mum was a great advocate for women. So she really wanted to provide that service. And it was a huge thing, you know, for a woman in the 80s like that to work outside home. Like amongst my circle of friends, I don't know of any of my friends' moms who worked, let alone drove, had their own business, and also had 4 kids.
My goodness.
Yeah, so she was a real trailblazer. So I kind of feel like I was reared in the treatment room. It wouldn't have been unusual because what happened was she opened a business and then she became pregnant on her 5th child. So then she took the business back to the house and she put in a cabin out the back. So it worked really well till I was about 12 before starting secondary school. Because every day I came home from school, she was there. And her staff at the time, her team really around her, would have eaten their lunch in the home. It was always very much a family. Like her team members became family. My dad would have dropped a lot of them home. In actual fact, many of them told me my dad taught them how to drive. Aww. This is not something that would happen in this day and age, but he probably just switched over and said, "You get behind the wheel and drive, you'll be fine." And he taught them how to drive on their way home. So yeah, and then like that I would have been crawling out from underneath a treatment couch. I remember making my fingerprints with wax, and I remember electrocuting myself with a slender toe machine and all of those things. But yeah, permanently in the treatment room. And then, you know, I remember when my mom would maybe have a snooze on the chair after dinner, I'd get a tweezers and try to pull hairs out of her legs.
I'm sure she loved that.
Yeah, I remember her waking up like reflex and saying, "Corinna, just leave me alone." So I feel like I was born to do it.
Okay, I love that. And so you always knew that you wanted to go down that beauty route.
I really did. I'm one of 5 and I'm the only one who did go into it. And yeah, I remember in school thinking, you know, when everyone else was kind of in a panic thinking what they wanted to do, I just felt so assured that I was following my right path.
That's so good.
I think to this day I can confirm I did.
Brilliant. And your mum started in 1980, you said?
Yeah, in 82.
82, my goodness, so many years. And I want to know, were you guys using Environ from the very beginning then? Because I think 1990 Environ started?
Yeah, I think it started in the 80s but came to the UK and Ireland maybe in the 90s.
Okay.
So how that came about was my mum's friend was living in South Africa, in Cape Town, and she was a patient of Dr. Des Fernandes, and he had put her on to Environ skincare. So this lady had actually trained with my mum, so she was also a trained skin therapist, and she'd been telling my mum about Environ. At the time we were working with Declior, an aromatherapy skincare brand. And my mum went over to Cape Town to visit her friend and came home with a lot of Environ. At the time it was called Debut Mild, Classic, Rich and Ultra, which was your AVST 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I can picture the packaging now. Yeah, I remember that.
So I remember like that. The packaging was very bland, and it didn't, like, I was working with Declior, which is all really fancy glass bottles, aromatherapy. I didn't pay too much attention. I did notice my mum loved it, and I could see it kind of taking over from what would have been her Declior skincare. Certainly her moisturisers, maybe not her cleansers and toners. But my younger sister, who's 5 years younger than me, would have had keratosis pilaris at that point. She was only about maybe 13, 14. And it was her one day saying to my mum, you need to get me that stuff from South Africa. That thing is coming back on my face, and I need to get it. And my mum was like, oh God, I'll have to ring Madeline and see what we can do and all the rest. And I still can see myself saying to her, did that work? And she said, oh my God. And I went over and felt the side of her face, and I'd never felt it so clear, and all the redness was gone.
Wow. What has kept you loyal all those years? Because there are so many skincare brands now. So why Environ in particular?
Do you know, nothing, well, first of all, Environ, which leans so heavily on the vitamin A molecule, for a long time, only in the last 5, maybe 8 years, we're hearing a lot more about retinoids. So to have worked with vitamin A for maybe 15 years before it was cool and trendy, there was nothing else that compared. And it also offered me resolution to a lot of my clients' skin issues, but it also gave me the most incredibly loyal client, because once a client moves over or starts to work with Environ skincare formulations, they will never be persuaded or even tempted by another skincare brand. They are so loyal. So that obviously kept me loyal, because the demand was there. My clients loved the glow that you get with Environ.
100%. So you touched upon a point about the vitamin A and how, Dr. Des Fernandes was really using high concentrations of vitamin A from the beginning. When you were saying 1980, 1990, no one really was talking about it then. So tell me a little bit more about vitamin A. What is vitamin A? What is it doing to the skin? Why is he using such high concentrations?
Well, it's actually, that's not what's unique, him using high concentrations. It's him using low concentrations that's actually unique, because it's very easy, not so much easy, but a lot of skincare formulators don't want to commercially waste the money on introducing their clients to low level vitamin A. So therefore they've no interest in training a client to metabolize vitamin A. So to bring it right back to basics, vitamin A is the chief molecule for skin health. It's as I often say to my clients, it's not vitamin P or Z or it's vitamin A, because it's such an important and vital vitamin, but it's also light sensitive. So therefore our skin is an organ that's exposed to light, so it's constantly being depleted in the skin. And also your body doesn't consider the skin to be a terribly important organ. So when you take vitamin A in your diet, it gives a liver, your lungs, your kidneys much more of a share. But also they're hidden, they're not light exposed. So your skin gets less of a share, but also what it gets is being depleted every day because the skin is exposed to light. So when you topically supplement your skin with vitamin A, it gets locked into the skin. We as humans lack the enzyme required to transfer that vitamin A beyond the skin. So it's a great way. You can take it in orally, and a lot of my clients, nearly all my clients, would supplement orally with vitamin A. But again, when you swallow it, you must share it amongst those more life-saving organs, which your skin will get more. And it's a great way of feeding the skin more vitamin A without any risk of irritation. So let's say Mary walks in off the street and she wants me to fix her pigmentation, fix her skin barrier, maybe she's some redness in her skin. The answer to all the problems, like it or not, is vitamin A. So she may have a barrier, or maybe a barrier that's compromised, or maybe so deficient in vitamin A that I have to work with really low levels. I kind of explain it to my clients, if you wanted to run a marathon, you wouldn't just go out and run a marathon. You'd start with 2K, 5K, 6K, and as that becomes easy, you start to include more distance in your run until you run the marathon. Well, it's exactly the same with vitamin A. We need to train that skin to receive vitamin A. So that's something that Environ do that's very unique. And I don't believe there's any other skincare brand in the world that does that. And they do that because of integrity, because they want their client to become vitamin A rich, have a skin that's abundant in vitamin A without any irritation to the skin in the process. So to have those low levels and therapeutic levels, we have incredible before and afters from AVST1. You don't have to hit the high levels, but obviously once the client starts to see their skin move to this level of augmented health, they want more and more and more, and realistically life puts more demands on them, which ultimately ages them. So the idea is that you would make sure your skin is as vitamin A rich as possible, because as I say to my clients, you're going to encounter stresses. It could be a physical stress, you could fall and cut yourself, or maybe a surgery that you have to undergo, or it could be even emotional stresses like a bereavement, a breakup. All of them massively impact your skin, and if your skin isn't abundant in vitamin A going into those traumas, it will suffer a lot of collateral damage where you will have accelerated aging. So I say to my clients, ensure no matter what life throws at you, you're vitamin A rich going into it, and it will still probably be a shit show, but it just won't show in your skin.
Right, okay. That's a real motto. Put on a t-shirt, honestly. Yeah. That's so funny. So you're referencing there the AVST step-up system. And so they have 1 to 5. So that's also really unique because like you're saying, you're kind of acclimating your skin to the vitamin A. And then those higher AVSTs, like the 3, 4, 5, I think you're being introduced to different types of vitamin A. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And also peptides. So talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so it's not just about one vitamin A. I mean, we hear a lot about retinol, but synergistically, all forms of vitamin A work best together. And then what Environ do incredibly intelligently, they combine peptides. They bring your skin to a level of health where another skincare brand will just sell you a peptide and hope your skin responds to it. What Environ will do, they will make your skin so healthy and your barrier so healthy that then they can evolve these peptides, and your skin at this, again, augmented level of skin health will respond to those messages of those amino acids. So when you hit AVST3, there's a new type of vitamin A, and then there's also peptides been introduced, and then AVST4, AVST5, we've even more vitamin A. So we've acetate, palmitate, and now propionate. But most likely, particularly if you're working with me, I will have already introduced you to retinol, maybe around AVST2, AVST3, and then also around AVST3, AVST4, I will introduce you to a home rolling or home microneedling tool, because the paradox of vitamin A is with this augmented health comes less permeability. And what good is your skincare if it's not going to go in? So we use these home microneedling tools, which probably look a little scarier than they actually are. They're only about 0.1 cosmetic, 0.2 gold roller in depth, which is about as deep as a sheet of paper. Yes. Just enough to create these little channels in the skin so that when you apply your skincare, your peptides, your antioxidants, your vitamin A, your vitamin C, you get like a nice rush of these incredibly important ingredients into your skin.
And I think that's really important, because I was reading a stat that said if you have healthy skin, you only get 6% penetration, right, of your products. That's so minimal. So using those needling tools is so important. And again, Dr. Des was a pioneer in introducing that.
Absolutely.
So what can clients expect? Like, I mean, is it painful to use? Should they be using it every day? You know, there's so many questions about that.
Yeah, so I believe Dr. Des Fernandes uses it morning and evening. And you know, like me personally, if I had something coming up like a wedding or, you know, something that I really wanted to ace my skin game for, I would probably use it morning and evening. But the goal is 7 nights a week. And it's not painful at all. No. These are. If you were to put sellotape onto your skin and take off the sellotape, the amount of stratum corneum that's on the surface of that sellotape is about as much as this is penetrating. It's not hitting any nerve endings, and you absolutely do not want to dig into your skin with this. I mean, I've had clients come into clinic for facials, and I'm like, "Are they track marks I see on your face?" Oh no! And you know that's not what this tool is only there for heightened delivery of your skincare. It's not there to trigger a collagen induction.
Very
you go
superficial.
For it. I know it looks like it, but you just go for a deeper needle to do that. So yeah, you just let the tool do its job. Don't put any weight behind it. Create as many different channels by doing as many different directions as possible. About 5 minutes if you include the neck, 3 to 5 minutes if you don't. And the goal is 7 nights a week. But you know, when a client buys a new tool, like us all, we get a new toy and we want to use it all the time. I ask my clients to go easy with it, as in maybe use it 3 nights a week and then every second night, because with this tool you're going to get such an onslaught of vitamin A, the potential to respond negatively is there. So you want to proceed with caution just because of the heightened delivery of the ingredients into the skin.
I think that's a really good point. And I think also backtracking slightly is about the actual step-up system itself. Is you don't want to jump from like AVST1, be like, oh, you know, I think I'm fine, and go to like 3. You kind of really need to go one by one. And, you know, sometimes you can go through 2 or 3 bottles of AVST1 or AVST2 and then you can jump up. Like you really have to get your skin to acclimate to it. And I think that's really important. I also love the SPF, the rat. And I know we were briefly talking about it, Naughty, earlier. I want to hear your take on RAD, because we have so many clients who say, no, I need an SPF 50. We live in a really hot climate, the sun, blah, blah, blah. Tell me why RAD is SPF 15, but still works a treat.
Sure. Well, we have the new product launch from Environ Skincare, which is Rad Active, which is actually, surprisingly enough, I believe, to Environ, got an SPF 20 rating because of its enhanced longevity onto the skin. So Rad Active, now they renamed it Active because of its enhanced longevity. It's actually adhering to the skin for longer. So they use the word active for maybe active people, like busy people. You know, that they don't have to, not that they don't have to reapply it every 2 hours, because you absolutely do, particularly when you're in UVB exposure, but just that it's lasting on the skin a lot longer. I know my husband is very athletic. He does a lot of cycling, a lot of running, and I know for him this is going to be a better SPF because of that more adhesion. And I want to clarify that, because some people think the word active means actives like vitamin A or vitamin C, and that's not the case. So your question was, why would people use this as opposed to an SPF 50? Well, the reality is, if you're formulating an SPF 30 or 50, and Dr. Des Fernandes absolutely could have created an SPF 50 or an SPF 30, but he chose not to, because if you do that and pack the product with those higher chemical sunscreens, there's no room in the product for antioxidants, and he recognises the role of antioxidants in that broad spectrum protection of the skin. So SPF is a rating given to a product from the Food Drug Authority, and it only reflects a UVB protection. Now, UVB is obviously the burning ray, the most dangerous ray, but for every 1 ray of UVB, there's 500 rays of UVA. So it's not the most dominant ray, and it's only around from about 11 o'clock till 12 o'clock, and it's very easily avoided. You want to be pretty stupid to get sunburn. Like, realistically, you'd want to be quite negligent, because you can pop a hat on, pop clothing on, stay in the shade. It doesn't travel indoors, so you can stay inside, etc. UVA is not as easy, and the other life spectrums, to avoid, and they create oxidative stress in the skin, which is incredibly aging. So I think what happens a lot of times, people are aligning or associating SPF with anti-aging, where in actual fact UVA and antioxidants is anti-vitamin or anti-UVA, anti-aging. So Des allowed for all that. He has an exquisite level of UVB protection in there. Like, I could write my name with RAD on my back and you would see it. It is the most amazing SPF, and it's the one SPF that I absolutely trust because of that low, I think there's an SPF 4 from a chemical SPF rating in it, so it's not going to irritate even the most sensitive skin. It's the only SPF I'd recommend for children. It's the SPF that I would have had for my own girls when they were babies, etc. My clients are incredibly loyal to RAD. I have my brother-in-law who golfs in amongst many other golfers in his group, and it's funny, whenever they come in from golfing, everyone else is red like a tomato, and I've said to him before, did you not golf today? And he's like, oh no, I was out for 18 holes, but he had RAD on. He's literally the same colour as he was going out, because it protects his skin so well. It really is a brilliant SPF. I don't believe there's anything else like it on the market. And if I really wanted to care for my skin, protect my skin from all spectrums of light, and to stop my skin burning, RAD is the one I would go for.
That's so interesting. You mentioned the introduction of antioxidants, and so many of Dr. Des's formulations have antioxidants in it, have encapsulated vitamin C, vitamin E in it. Why is that so important? Particularly when nowadays you hear online, like, oh, you can't mix vitamin A and vitamin C, that kind of...
I think, again, that's gone down. I'm going to say to lazy skincare brands who only work with retinol, fast converging forms of vitamin A and more irritable versions of vitamin A, and then they work with ascorbic acid, which is the water soluble form of vitamin C, which is exfoliating on the skin. So as a result, you've got this double whammy. So people say you should avoid both, but vitamin A and vitamin C can be used together, and they absolutely should be used together, because if you want beautiful, healthy skin, you must use vitamin A and antioxidants. And vitamin A, of course, is that chief antioxidant. So what Environ do is they encapsulate their vitamin C with fats. Therefore, it's fat soluble. So it goes deeper into the skin. So it doesn't have that exfoliating effect. So I find a lot of my clients, including myself, break out from water soluble vitamin C, where you don't get that with fat soluble vitamin C. I use fat soluble vitamin C for all my acne clients, which is really good for pigmentation, post-inflammatory pigmentation, and also for scarring, whereas you couldn't put an ascorbic acid onto an acne client.
No,
so it's a great way of getting really high doses of vitamin C into the skin without any irritability.
Okay, and you mentioned this, brilliant actually, clients who have acne. So I have noticed recently there are a lot of people who will get acne in like their 20s, maybe in 30s, and then they're running to go and take Roaccutane. What would you say to those clients? Like, should you try Environ first? How long for? What should you be using?
You know, definitely there's a place for Roaccutane. However, one of my clients recently had an appointment for a dermatologist, and it was about 3-6 months. Her acne was so bad, she came to me. By the time her dermatologist appointment came about, I had completely cleared her acne.
Incredible.
So much so that her doctor actually wouldn't prescribe her Roaccutane because she said she'd probably relapse and purge. And my client, who now had clear skin, was not prepared to do that. But the dermatologist also told my client that the relapse rate of Roaccutane is 70%. 70%, and of that 70%, 30 something percent go back on it again. So that just shows you the limitations and how one-dimensional Roaccutane is. I mean, I'm not saying I've had clients come to me, parents bring their sons to me, and the first thing I said is, Roaccutane, I will support you on the journey, but I need Roaccutane first, and then I will make sure his skin is beautiful and healthy and that he doesn't relapse again. But I just know we need that Roaccutane first. So there is a time and a place for it. But I think jumping on it to have clear skin is just, it's kind of like, I don't know, not being prepared to go to the gym to be fit.
Yes.
And maybe just thinking, like, I don't know, like a TENS machine or some kind of muscle machine is going to do it.
100%.
You have to put the work in. You have to train your skin. It's just like any other organ, and you have to train it to be healthy. And like that, even with acne, acne is about having beautiful skin for a lifetime in the sense resolution of acne. It's not just about getting rid of the acne. You have to teach. Actually, that's another thing that the doctor mentioned to my client. She said, even if I had to put you on Roaccutane, because my client showed her the photos, she says your skin wouldn't be as beautiful as it is right now, and it wouldn't have healed from all the scarring like it has right now. The only reason why that happened is I put her on a skin health journey, and that skin health journey obviously also completely cleared her acne. But yeah, you have to really just train the skin to be healthy, and for long, like, I wouldn't rush. That's not to say, you have to weigh it up, because acne traumatizes the client from a psychological perspective, but also creates a lot of scar tissue. So you have to call it. I would look at a client and say, right, is the time frame more risky that she's going to scar more and it's going to impact her mental health more, in which case we'll need to lean on medical advice. But again, I will work alongside that, because Roaccutane puts you into a whole new barrel of problems with regards to dry skin, etc. Or do I think that, and also you have to be mindful that Roaccutane can impact their mental health as well, so you need to manage that too. Or do I think I'm going to clear it? And I can tell more or less by meeting the person.
That's brilliant.
I could probably clear it before they get their appointment for a dermatologist.
That's insane. Yeah. I'm like still shocked by that stat that you put out.
Yes,
I mean, I think that again will show you like your loyalty to the brand. If people go through acne, and we've had clients who have had acne and have been on Environ, and they stay on Environ because they look gorgeous. Their skin just looks absolutely porcelain. I mean, hello, zoom into the camera. Beautiful skin. So yeah, I definitely think that Environ skincare is fantastic when it comes to acne, and there's so many ranges to target different skin concerns that people may have. You were mentioning scars, you were mentioning pigmentation. Pigmentation, I think, with the Radiance line is fantastic. Melly even is just incredible, that product. And pigmentation, you need to, like, you can't just keep exfoliating the skin and pulling the pigmentation up and out. You actually need to repair the DNA, and only vitamin A, of course, will do that. So for long-term resolution of pigmentation, you need to make sure the skin is vitamin A rich. 100%.
And then also the fact that when you store vitamin A in your skin, it's stored as a light protective molecule. So you're less, like I explain to my clients, when you're using an abundance of vitamin A every morning and evening, you walk around with a cloud permanently over your head from that light protective.
Because you're protected.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that that's also a point to mention is that you should be using these products day and night. So tell me why that's important, because there's some people who are like, I'll just use it in the morning and then I'll just wash my face at night. Why do you need to put your products
You need to use it really as much as your skin will tolerate. You want to feed your skin as much vitamin A as possible, but bear in mind that these formulations have antioxidants in them as well, which offer a level of protection from free radical activity. So there's no point in just applying them at night when you're not exposed to a lot of free radicals like pollution, etc., and light spectrums that create free radical activity in the skin. So it's really important that you're doing it morning and evening. I kind of describe it to a client like a plant in a window, and you feed it some water before you leave for work, and you come back in that evening and you replenish with more water in the evening.
Yeah.
So every time you apply your vitamin A in the evening, you're basically undoing all the damage that the light has done that day on your vitamin A by depleting the vitamin A in your skin.
Yeah. I was just going to say exactly that. I think that's great. When it comes to the professional side of Environ, so Environ have a lot of facials. They've got a lot of peels, very fun things. What do you think distinguishes an Environ facial from just like a regular treatment that you can get at any salon, I guess?
Well, we have the DF device, which of course has iontophoresis and sonophoresis, so we get that massive enhancement of delivery of these incredible formulations, which again, much like the microneedling tool and the sound waves, they're only as good as the products you're delivering into the skin. So these are only good because you're working with Environ formulations. But also we have the TCA peels, which are the most beautiful soft signalling to the skin, always considering the skin barrier, never compromising the skin, no major downtime, but they really get the most beautiful result, particularly when done maybe 4 to 6 treatments in close proximity to each other. They really just take the skin on a journey, pulling it in a certain direction, but we get the most gorgeous results from our Environ facials.
That's a really good point about the core peel. So how close from like one treatment to another should you be doing it?
I like to get the best result from my TCAs. I like to do 6 treatments, and if there's a peel, and there often is a flaking, like you wouldn't even notice. You kind of sometimes you look in the mirror and you go, what's that? And you're like, oh, it's a tiny little flake. But I don't like to do the next treatment till all flaking has gone, and that's usually maybe 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
But normally I book my clients in about every 10 to 14 days for the 6 treatments.
Okay, really lovely. And you see, I mean, honestly, I can't stress enough that when you are consistent with Environ, consistency is key, that you see the most incredible results. And I think particularly in this day and age where we're thinking, oh, everything has to be an instantaneous result. We're talking about like TikTok trends and you see the before and afters and you're like, wow. The brand really focuses on going low and slow. And I think when you do that, you see the most incredible results. So good.
It is the kindest way. In your skin, you can see as an organ, your skin responds so beautifully to it. It likes what you're doing. You know, I often say to my clients, would you do it to your kidneys? Would you do it to your lungs? Would you, like, let's say something like a CO2 laser, would you burn your lungs for aesthetic reasons, you know? And much like you'd never say, oh, there's a little dark area on the left-hand side of my lungs, can you get rid of that? You know, you'd say I'd want healthy lungs. Yeah. And it should be the same for the skin, as opposed to isolating one area of pigmentation and trying to burn it off and traumatizing the skin more, which of course is going to result in more pigmentation. Whereas instead of just feeding it what it wants to be healthy, and then just seeing that overall, you know, augmentation of skin health. And that's really what I think everyone should look for. But yes, we wear our skin, but our skin is an organ, and you need to protect it and feed it and mind it and care for it and give it as much respect as you would any other organ in the body.
And leading off of that, in your practice, you very much care also about their lifestyle, your clients' lifestyle, right? So what's your stress levels like? What are your sleep levels like? What are you eating? I think, tell me a little bit more how your lifestyle affects your skin.
Well, we see this with their supplement line that we work with, which is Advanced Nutrition Program. It's a skin-specific supplement line and very much targets the gut health, and they launched a fibre powder, Skin Integrate 28, and we see how the skin responds to that. You know, it responds so beautiful. The skin is a double-sided organ, and the skin-gut axis is very much aligned, and you know, inflammation presents on the skin. So when you care for and look after the stress levels, sleep, gut health, you can massively see the impact of that on your skin.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I don't think it'd be possible to take inflammation out of the skin without addressing internally nutrition, lifestyle, and gut health.
No, and we're exposed to so much stress anyway, just on our normal lifestyles. You know, it's so different to back in the day. But it's like now we're at work, and just like the cities that we live in, it's just like a stressful environment. So you want to like omit as much as you can. So I think that's a really good point about nutrition.
I would often, when I meet a client, if their skin is so incredibly compromised, their skin barrier is compromised and so inflamed, I will put them on a 3-4 week supplement only program and then introduce my skincare, because that way I can make changes in their skin without any risk of irritation. And then I get their trust. And once you get their trust, then the client is more compliant and she's going to be more consistent.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's probably how I get my best results.
And you probably see amazing results just from the nutrition alone.
Oh, yeah. Omega-3, their supplement, which is synergized with vitamin A. I didn't realise until I started working with this brand how important omega-3 levels are for skin barrier. We literally shed, as our skin cells migrate up and form the stratum corneum, they shed their bilipid layer, which is basically made from essential fatty acids. And realistically, we're not taking enough in our diet because essential fatty acids tend to be high calorific foods like avocados, oily fish and nuts and seeds. So we're not taking enough of them in. But when you have robust omega-3 levels and robust skin barriers, you shed that skin barrier, and it's what forms your waterproof barrier in the skin. And then also omega-3 is so incredibly anti-inflammatory, and then that anti-inflammatory effect reduces histamine levels as well, so there's less likely to have reactions. So good for my rosacea patients.
You see it. You can. I feel like you see it in people's skin. They just look like dewy and like full. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
I know, because some people think, I'm not drinking enough water. That's said to me nearly every day. I mean, that's an absolute myth. Drinking water is not going to hydrate your skin. I mean, if you're not drinking enough water, it's going to present in so many areas of your health before it will present in your skin.
Yeah.
But you're most likely not taking enough omega-3. I sometimes am in the supermarket queue and I'm like, I'd recommend that supplement for them, that skincare product for them.
That's so funny.
Actually, even just by introducing antioxidants and vitamin A, by speeding up that cell turnover, to changing the colour of their skin. Men's skin within days, 4 to 7 days of using Mela cream and an ABST1, their skin changes colour.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I can tell looking at my husband if he's using his product. Yeah, he was out of the car and I'm like, you are not using your ABST. Don't even go there.
That's so funny. Okay, I have a couple of hot takes for you. This might be controversial. Okay, so people have, particularly in this day and age with TikTok Shop and all of that, they open the bathroom shelves and it's just filled top to bottom with different skincare products, acids, peptides, God knows what. And the skin is still not where they want it to be. What are they doing wrong?
They're not using vitamin A.
They're not using vitamin A. And how long?
Consistently, like using vitamin A 3 times a week is not using vitamin A.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, because unless you're exposed to daylight 3 times a week, you're never going to win that war.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watering a plant in a sunny window 3 times a week. You're not expecting it to flourish.
Yeah.
So, you don't need to work with irritating forms of vitamin A, such as retinoic acid, etc. You can use palmitate, propionate, acetate, retinols, and train your skin to receive vitamin A. I had a client reach out to me with rosacea, and I put her on high level palmitate, and within 3 weeks, her rosacea's gone.
Wow.
Yeah. There's this misconception as well that it's too active for compromised skin barrier. Compromised skin barrier needs vitamin A to repair.
That's really interesting. And it's also, I always say, like, it's not going to be a day to night transformation. You need to be consistent. And I would honestly say, give it a month, give it 2 months, give it 3 months, and then you can see a difference that way. Yeah. But it's definitely the long game that you want to be.
And people say to me the whole time, they never spend as little on their skincare than when they come working with me, because all that skincare in the bathroom is streamlined. Like, that's not good for anyone. It's not good for your budget, and it's not good for the planet, and it's certainly not good for your skin. And people don't realise our skincare expires, SPF also expires, but you need to check the dates on those skincare formulations, because if they're all sitting there, I just tell clients, use it on your hands and your arms, work through it.
Get rid of it. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's also a really good point about Environ, is actually they're really good because they can lower the number of preservatives that they put in the products, because it's really meant to be used day and night. So really shouldn't be with you for more than 2 months, 12
weeks, from when you open an ABST, it's only stable for 12 weeks. So you have to use it morning and evening.
Yeah.
It's not a product you can play with, it's not there for that. It's there to work.
Yeah, they have short shelf lives for a reason. Okay, second question. What's a treatment or product that you think is completely overhyped at the moment?
Oh, Korean skincare, South Korean
Do
skincare.
Do you? Really?
Yeah, I do. I just don't believe that one country can, just because it comes from a country, it's guaranteed to be good. So what we're happening is, all these influencers, etc., are going to South Korea and bringing back their formulations. And that's just not enough. It takes more than point of origin to make a good skincare product.
And there's
I'm not saying that there's not good skincare product being made in South Korea. I'm sure there is, but just the fact that that's its point of origin doesn't give it the credibility.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also because people find it so affordable, but then they go back to that cycle of having so many products, and then actually nothing actually works on their skin.
And you're
like, no, and it's just like you could have just bought a couple of products from Environ, last you longer, and your results will be better. Yeah. Okay, and then what do you think is criminally underrated? I think I know your answer.
Well, one product that I think is criminally underrated in Environ skincare is Dermalac lotion.
I love Dermalac. And
I mean,
body
why does that? I don't know if it's because it's not part of the vitamin A family, but it is incredible.
So
what
good.
a product. Like, it does so many things. You can use it for so many reasons. It's so gentle and so kind to the skin, but it's so dynamic in what it does. Like, it literally cures so many skin conditions, including acne, keratosis pilaris, rosacea, pigmentation. It's a skin emollient, skin softener, skin brightener, skin lightener. It has that sterilizing effect as well. You can use it on, ankles, your hard skin on your feet, your knees, cuticles. Dermalac for everyone. And it's so cheap.
It's so cheap. And honestly, when you mix it in with the body oil, the results are incredible. And I remember one time I was doing a training with Karen from Abu Dhabi, our distributor, and she was like, these little stretch marks, you can, if you're consistent, you can get rid of them. And I saw a difference. I really did. And also, when you're using the body roller, because the roller isn't just for the face, right? It's for the body as well. So you get more product penetration, and the results are incredible.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Dermalac and body oil, I call them the power couple of skincare.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I forgot. But they're brilliant. Okay. What do you know now about skincare or skin in general that you think most of the industry is now getting wrong?
Well, I feel like people are demonizing vitamin A purely because they don't want to work with it, because it complicates things, because of the potential to be irritated by it, etc. So what I know now that the industry doesn't know is that vitamin A is the answer to nearly all skin problems.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to welcome you to Abu Dhabi soon, fingers crossed. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. I've learnt so much, and it was just lovely chatting.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me. Sarah.
Thank you.